Hey guys, I received a question in the Facebook group about converting a pattern like the California Cami to using the shirred elastic back. So I'm just going to show you quickly with the California Cami pattern how you would make those changes and decide how big of a piece to cut for your back portion. So in front of us right here, I have the cami front and back. The cami front is already assembled. I've taken the pattern piece for the skirt, which is 24 inches long. It's a 12-inch dimension that's cut on the fold. So I have a 12-inch piece cut and gathered, sewn to my front, and the top edge of the front is hemmed right here. Then for the back, we've taken that same 12-inch measurement to cut the rectangle for the bottom. That determines how wide it's going to be. And then for the height of the piece of fabric to shirr, we have the 4 inches for the base. It's 4.5 inches. It's hemmed on the bottom, and you would remove the seam allowance from attaching the skirt to the bodice back. So we have 4 inches accounted for right here, and then another 2 inches at the top to allow for 1.5 inches, which is the part of the bodice back which is showing. It's another 1/2 inch cut in for the double turned hem, and 1/4 inch down here for the seam allowance. So we have that portion, including that 1/4 inch seam allowance from the skirt when it was sewn together. So we've gone ahead and removed those measurements from the cut pieces to determine about a 6-inch height for this square. And I've shirred my stitching for 2 inches here. We have the top edge hemmed, and then this is shirred in, and so it pulls in real tight, and that gathers that bottom portion of the skirt. So this will be the back. So then to determine how to cut this underarm seam, I've gone ahead and I've taken my pattern piece and I've lined it up with the bodice dimension, and then I'm marking with some design tape where my cut line would be. Then I've gone over to the machine and I've stitched just on this exterior edge of the tape so that my elastic is secure, and then I can go in and trim right along here to have the shape of my pattern piece. Now I have that cut and ready to assemble to my cami front. Now for this next step, I'm also going to use fold over elastic instead of self bias turned fabric strips. The fold over elastic is now sewn down. This is wrong side up. The shirt front and the shirt back are both sitting here right side up. So I have that just carefully zigzag down right along that seam allowance line. So it's overlapping that 1/4 inch seam allowance. And then we just take the fold over elastic. I'm going to fold it right over that raw edge, and we'll zigzag over that. Then we'll continue to fold this strap all the way in half and zigzag that together along this edge. And then it comes to the back and it folds over and covers that back portion as well. And then here on the opposite side, you can see that is already done. So we have the right side and the wrong side, and it's zigzagged carefully. And I'm not stretching this fold over elastic at all while I'm sewing it, so it maintains the original dimension of the pattern piece. Then at this point, the final step would be to just line up the side seams, right sides together. You're just going to put front and back together, sew that along the side seam, and then you'll have your finished strap for your top, and the back will stretch to fit instead of needing a closure down the center back. And here we have that finished top. So the front of the cami is the exact same version of the pattern. It is just a flat piece of woven cotton sewn to a separated gathered skirt. And then on the back, we've shirred that. So we've cut this whole portion as one large piece of fabric, shirred it, which gathered that bottom portion, and then that allows that to stretch on and off the doll. And then we've replaced the straps with fold over elastic. So that's a quick and easy way to finish this top, and this coordinates really well with the fabric. You can use the same color or contrasting strap colors to highlight different colors or prints in your fabric. And then you can see as we just slip this on the doll, that just slides right up over her waist, and then the straps are stretchy enough that we can just put those over her hands. And that lines up nicely with the portion of the doll body that lines up with where her arm joins. It's nice and smooth across the front, and then a stretchy finish on the back. And you could also choose to do this on both the front and the back, and then you'd have a shirred bodice all the way around on both sides. All right, well, I hope this will help you to just feel confident to experiment with some of the patterns that you might have. It's really easy to mix in techniques that we've learned into existing pattern designs, and as you can see here, the results are fun. It gives you a new version of something to play around with.